Be the
Go ahead.
intro. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Google Education Group New Jersey's Power Hour. This is show number 2, and we want to get right into it because we have some very special guests who might have an earlier bedtime. Miss Regina Schaefer has brought some of her talented middle school and elementary school students, and we're actually going to go right to Miss Schaefer.
Hi everyone, I am an elementary ed tech specialist in Middletown, New Jersey, and prior to this I was middle school, so I also have a former middle school student, he's now high school with us. So I'm going to go right across. We have, we have Thomas, okay, I have Erin, can't hear us, and I have Kevin. Kevin is going to start us off talking about Google Apps, his experience, and then we're going to keep going. Go ahead.
Okay, so I started off in middle school, like Miss Schaefer said. In 7th grade, we got introduced to Google Apps, and it was everything we use. We just basically used the Google Docs, and we edited on essays and projects. We collaborated with different students and stuff, and that was all new because up until then we used Microsoft Word, and we always had to have either a flash drive or download it somehow. But now that everything online, it was so different. It made everything a lot easier. But then as it progressed, and now to this day, I still use Google Docs for all my essays and everything like that. And now Google Slides is out, so I make all my presentations on there. And now, recently, we have Google Hangouts. So for that, we always use, whenever we do group projects, it's easy to use Google Hangouts. So it's so much easier to collaborate together. You can see and speak to each other for all the projects that you're going to present. It makes presenting so much easier when you get to plan everything beforehand. I can also see, I can see in the future using Google Hangouts, like not just for school, but like when I'm out of school, when I'm in college especially, and when I'm even out of college, because it's you can conference, you can talk to so easily people who aren't able to be in the same spot. It just makes everything so much easier. And then, so we started using Google Classroom a couple years ago, and so it keeps the teachers and the students up to date on everything, which I personally love because all assignments, and you can actually virtually hand everything in. There's nothing, you don't even have to hand in a paper copy of anything anymore. You can just hand everything in through Google Classroom. And I can't wait to use this in college because I know in college, when classes only meet 1 or 2 times a week, it's going to be, you won't get to see everybody and review everything. It's going to be all online, that you won't have to do any of that. You can just access everything. Everyone else is on the same page as you. Everyone's up to date. And if the teacher needs any, updates throughout the week or before class, it's always accessible, which is awesome. And also I started using Google Sheets, which is similar to like Microsoft Excel, but I love Sheets because for especially my accounting class, and I know I'll be doing a lot of accounting in college and in the future because I want to be a business major. We often audit each other through Google Sheets, so we'll do a worksheet that we do in accounting, and for homework online, our partner will go on and audit, through, and then we come into the school and we have an audited copy of our worksheet for class already, and it just it speeds everything up and really keeps it innovative.
Hi. Hi.
And so the main thing really that I love about Google Apps now is that, like, prior to this, it was always everything had to be downloaded. You had to have something physical, like a physical copy. But now, like before this, there was Skype. You had to download that, and if you didn't have it on the computer, it wasn't working. But now Google Hangouts, you can access everything online. You can just go on anything that has an internet browser. You can access all of your homework, presentations. You can contact other students and collaborate, and even teachers. So it just makes school life so much simpler. That's all.
Okay, thank you. I just want to jump in and say that we have 2 more people joining us from Middletown. We have Daniel and another ed tech specialist, Jeannie Iovino, sorry. All right, next we're going to hear from Colleen. You know what it was? We were calling her Erin. Her name is Colleen, and she's using her mom's account. So she probably was like,
Ah, that would be why we didn't get a response.
right.
Okay. So while we're waiting for her, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the work that she's been doing, Regina?
All right. So I've had Colleen, the fifth graders, I've had them for 3 years now. My first year was 2013. They were in third grade. They had a fabulous, fabulous teacher who jumped right into Google Apps. Third grade was one-to-one. And their teacher used the Chromebooks, brought them to the lab, and then took the initiative to just try things on her own. So whatever I would suggest, she was game and she jumped right in. And so these are those students. They did so well. They had a great foundation and they've come up. I know with Colleen, I think I mentioned she was our only girl in coding, but she also has one of the best blogs. We've been blogging for the past 3 years as well. They started on Kid Blog, and then last year they went to Blogger, and she put some of her, I'm sorry, I have not shared my screen.
Have you found the kids are really into blogging? Because that's kind of what I found too when I switched over my high school kids to blogging.
Yes, can you guys see her blog? I'm sorry.
Yes, we see it.
Okay. So they are. They enjoy it. In fact, we can ask them.
Actually, we see looks like the agenda, Regina.
I'm sorry.
While we're waiting, let's see. Colleen, can you hear us? I know we were having some mic issues earlier. Colleen, if you want to unmute your mic, we can go ahead. Looks like we're still having mic issues. Who else do we have with us, Regina?
That's why. Thomas, can you jump in right now?
Okay. Hi, my name is Thomas and I'm in 5th grade at Bayview Elementary School. And I've been using Google Apps since 3rd grade. And it's been really fun because we never really did anything on computers until then. And it was really good. And I used everything like Mrs. Schaefer said about my teacher. She taught us about Google Docs and Google presentations and everything. And it was very fun. And I learned a lot about computers and everything about that. And in 3rd grade, I made a spreadsheet, and Mrs. Schaefer said she was going to put that on the screen.
Well, while she works on that, Thomas, tell us a little bit about how did you find learning Google Apps, even being in 3rd grade? Was it something that was kind of easy for you, or did it take some practice?
It took some practice, but I use computers at home a little, but nothing like that ever before. So it did take some practice to learn and get used to. But by now in 5th grade, I'm an expert at it.
You're an expert? Awesome. And what is your favorite thing about it? What do you like most about working with Google?
I like my favorite thing about it is how easy it is. I like it how you can just get on in like 1 minute and start working on a project. So you have the most time to work on your work.
And are you guys on Chromebooks or do you use something else?
We're usually on Chromebooks. We have our own Chromebook.
Very cool. All right. And Ms. Schaefer, who else do we have with us today? Oh, looks like we lost Miss Schaefer. So how about we go to Jeannie? Jeannie, you're going to fill in while Miss Schaefer is gone.
Sure, why not? Hi, everyone. I'm from Nutswamp and Leonardo, Middletown, and I'm a technology specialist. So Regina asked me to hop on tonight to show a little bit about what we're doing using Google presentations to make non-linear presentations. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with it, but we use non-linear presentations to do fiction writing and nonfiction projects. So let me just see if my screen share will work. Let me see. Hey, Regina.
Hi, I think I have a better connection. I apologize, everyone. All right.
Well, Jeannie's going to show us her nonlinear Google Slides presentations. Maybe you want to jump in with another kid, Regina? Who do we have? Who else do we have with us?
Perfect. James. Can you hear us? What's going on?
Yeah.
We practice.
There he is. What's up, James?
Hi, I'm from Bayview. I'm in 5th grade. My name is James. I was in tech club in 3rd grade with Thomas, and I learned a lot, like how to use Google Apps and stuff and coding. So,
Oh, tell us a little bit about coding, James.
well, I've been coding for a while now because I just like it. It's fun, and I always do these projects at home. And I make these backgrounds and stuff, and I just make it like these mini games I play, and it's just really fun, and I like it a lot, so I do it.
And so, what's your favorite thing in school? Do you do Google CS First? Their
Yeah,
coding?
we do that.
Okay.
I like that a lot
So
because
tell us a little bit about what is CS First and what do you like about it?
CS First is basically like a club that you get to use that helps you it doesn't help you, but it focuses on one topic. Recently we just did storytelling. So we all focused on one story. Uh, I finished it. We did personal narratives and stuff, and I signed up for a sports one, so I'm gonna do that. And it's CS First introduces you really to just coding and how to work and stuff as it guides you through the videos. And my favorite thing about coding, it's probably the animation you get to put into it. Some people do some really amazing stuff with it, and it's just amazing to me. So
And that kind of piggybacks with Scratch, right? CS First
yeah,
teams up with Scratch?
yeah, they link together, I guess.
Okay.
So that's my favorite part, really, using Scratch.
Awesome. Very cool.
Thanks.
Regina, who else do we have with us? I think we got a few more kiddos.
Hey. Daniel, you want to jump in? Okay.
So we've been doing CS First in Scratch, and I think it's a lot of fun because it helps me a lot because sometimes in class kids will ask me for help with their books, and in CS First there are all these badges you get, and you get a pamphlet sometimes, and then it has you get to write down your username and you get badges, and there are the first two badges, and yeah.
Oh, very cool. What kind of stuff have you made with CS First?
We've done dialogue. We did storytelling, setting, and it's really cool to see what you put code into, and then see it all come together.
That's really neat. And you and James ever worked together on a project, or do you guys work collaboratively in the CS First?
Yeah, well, me and James and Thomas and Colleen will all come together. Sometimes we'll all help each other work on one project. If James will have a question for me, I'll come and help him. If he has or I have a question for him, he'll come and help me. And it's
That's
really
awesome.
fun.
That's awesome that you guys work together. And how about Colleen? Colleen, are you with us? I know Colleen was having some mic issues. Let's see if we had those fixed or not. Well, we try to get a hold of Colleen. Jeannie, are you ready to screen share for us?
Can you guys see my screen at all?
Yes, we see your screen.
Awesome. Okay, so pretty much for nonlinear presentations, with a linear presentation, you're moving in one direction. People only have the option to go from slide 1 to slide 2. But in a nonlinear presentation, you're giving people choice of where they want to explore. So there's a lot of benefits to using nonlinear presentations. It really increases engagement, and the students just really love creating these presentations. One example that you can do is our fifth graders went to the Natural History Museum. So they made all presentations in groups to kind of document their learning experience while at the museum. And it's loading. Can you guys still see that?
Yes, we still see it.
Okay, just checking. So pretty much from here, this is their home screen, and the viewer has the option of where they want to start exploring. So for example, they can click on the dinosaur and learn all about what they found at the dinosaur exhibit at the Natural History Museum. So that's one way we've been implementing Google presentations a little bit differently. And the other way is through Choose Your Own Adventure stories. This particular one was written by a colleague, Marla Weinstein, and this was her demonstration to the students. So click on the beach ball to continue, and you kind of walk through the story, and you get to the point where you're able to choose where the story takes you. So you can choose swim or build, and it gives you different scenarios based on what you choose. So after this presentation was given to all of our students, we were then they then got to create their own Choose Your Adventure stories. They're just a ton of fun to do.
That's really cool, and it's been pretty well received. They kind of like making their
Very
own
well.
designs.
And we also had parents and people from the community come in to look at the presentations when they're finished, and they also get a really big hit. We set up, stations around the all-purpose room, and people can kind of walk to Chromebook to see what the students have been creating.
That's really cool. And you know what I like about that is, as I've used something similar, is I love it that it kind of puts students in control, kind of like that student-centered learning. We've done choose your own adventure stories or like interactive presentations and stuff like that. And what's really cool too is you can even put a link to like a Google form quiz or some videos work in there and stuff like that too. You can link to outside websites and stuff. So that's really neat.
A lot of people don't even know that you can add links and kind of link through your presentation and to other places using presentations. So I think it's really a great way for people who've mastered presentations to take it a step further.
Right, and a lot of that's done through the features called Jump to Slide and Presentation, right?
Correct.
So when they highlight text or they highlight a picture and they hit the link button, there'll be an option to jump to a slide and presentation, and that's how you could jump around and create these kind of choose your own adventure stories.
Right, just like you were putting in a hyperlink.
Right, very cool. And so I know we're having some issues with Colleen's mic, but I know, Regina, you wanted to talk a little bit about her work in the Girls Who Code Club. Do you want to give that a try? Do a little screen share for us?
Yes. Okay, I'm ready. I'm going to give you guys some background. So this year I decided to use the CS first, and I'm sorry. And my first club was storytelling.
Regina, right now you're sharing a screen of my beautiful face.
I know, I know.
If you saw me last week, I too struggled with the screen sharing. But that's it.
And
You
I'm
know
having
what?
Wi-Fi issues, everyone, on top of everything else. Um, so I started with CS First. I love their program. They send you absolutely everything, the materials, the booklets for the students, like actual little badges. You don't have to know how to code at all. So it's set up so that volunteers, the PTO, Girl Scouts, anyone could actually run it. Very non-intimidating, because for a lot of adults, as we know, that's the issue. They think with coding that they have to, be a coder to be able to teach it. But with this program, you do not have to. That's what I love. Even though I do code and I know it, I wanted to be able to model it for other teachers and for them to feel like they could, do this with their students. So you just really set it up. The students bring, we had a lot of technical issues in the beginning because it didn't work with our desktop, so they started using it on their Chromebooks. It was perfect. They just bring their earphones, and it just walks them through the basics of Scratch. They, watch a video, they go to Scratch, their account is linked to the CS First account, and they do a project. And then it's all in the teacher dashboard. You can see their finished projects, you can see their progress. At the end, they do a survey at the end of each activity. There's 8 total. A lot of people just do like 1 a week. That's what we were doing. We're now going to move that one group, which was all boys and just Colleen, to a lunchtime one. I have a second one with girls. Because there was only Colleen, I said we need to get more girls. She actually, recruited. I sent it out. I actually had 35 girls sign up. Right now, we have 25, and they just started. They're doing the music module, and I have 3rd, 4th, and 5th, even though I know it's just for 4th and 5th. I had some 3rd graders, and they are doing wonderfully. So it's a great entryway into coding. The CS First program is really intimidating for the teachers out there listening, and very easy to use.
It really is. Feedback. It literally is as easy as, they even tell you, turn the computer on, go to this website. They'll send you headphones, and they send you all these neat badges and stuff like that. So CS First is really well done, and if you're interested in giving CS First a try, it's totally free. Anybody can do it. We included a link to that into our agenda that you can find in the Google New Jersey community. So Regina, thank you so much. It's very brave to bring some 5th graders on. I thought they did an outstanding job navigating some technical difficulties. I think this is their first time doing a Google Hangout for a lot of them, right?
Yes. Well, we did practice a little bit.
There you go. Good.
Okay. Thank you for having us.
No, it's fantastic. It's exciting to bring students on, and hopefully that's something we could continue with future shows, is hearing from our kids as well. But as we jump into the agenda,
we're going to jump off, everyone. You can say good night.
Good night, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's past my bedtime. I need to go too.
And while our kids leave, we are left with the wonderful Mr. Kevin Jarrett. Kevin, how are you, sir?
Great. Yourself, Chris?
I'm doing well. We also have Jeff Bradbury with us. Jeff, how's it going?
It is going great. It's good to be here and see everybody.
Absolutely. So looking at the agenda, we could kind of talk about some of the new Google updates that have been going around, and I think one that I'm most excited about was on March 8th, Google has added the ability to download a doc as an EPUB file, which I thought was really neat, because this will allow, I think, a lot of people who have hopes and dreams of kind of writing their own novels or making some documents for different devices have access to a few more options. So I thought that was pretty neat. What else do we have on our agenda? There's new Google Docs templates, if you've seen that. I think the coolest part is, have you guys seen who made up the new Google Doc template for teachers? There's a lesson plan template. So it was made by the Reading Rainbow people.
I saw that, yes.
See, I guess you can have the official Reading Rainbow lesson plan that you can play around with. And there's a few other neat little templates that teachers might find useful. There's one for a digital portfolio, it looks like, and a few others.
And the
I
one
like
for
the
Pete's
pitch deck.
pretty cool too. They actually have one from Quicken, and it's all budgeting and income expenses and stuff like that. That is really, really neat.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I thought the pitch deck was well done.
Oh, tell us about the pitch deck, Kevin.
It's basically it's designed as a way that you would sell a product to like a VC, and
Oh,
we
cool.
did kids did Shark Tank stuff at my school, and this would have helped them a lot to organize their thoughts and to be to go deeper with the concepts. It really looks great too.
Is that a template on Google Slides, or is that a template
Yes.
for Docs? Oh, okay. See, I was in.
Slides
Gotcha. I
template,
didn't
yeah.
know they added slide templates too. Very
Mhm.
cool. Some other things from the exciting news of Google. Google Expeditions pilot program is still going on. We included a link to that. We talked about CS First and how cool that is. The other thing that I thought was neat, did you guys see Chrome Music Land?
A little bit.
So I haven't looked at it too much, but it looks like they wanted to help make learning about music a bit more accessible to everyone by using technology that's open to everybody. They built a set of experiments that let anybody explore how music works. It's called Chrome Music Lab, and you can check it out on the agenda that we posted. So it seems to be really popular, but unfortunately I've not gotten a chance to check it out. So those are some of the updates from the exciting world of Google. But I wanted to jump in and talk a little bit to Jeff. Jeff, you talked about creating stop-motion animation movies using Google Slides, and I wanted to see that because I've used revision history and Google Drawings to make stop-motion animation, but I'm interested to see what you're doing in Slides.
Well, this all started in November. In my new position now as technology integration person up in Westwood, I happened to walk into a fourth grade classroom, and in front of me they were doing an arts and crafts project where they were cutting out circles and ovals and squares and shapes, and essentially they were gluing all these construction paper cutouts together to make turkeys. And on the belly of the turkey was the word happy, and then each of the feathers on the turkey were synonyms for happy. And they were putting this project together, and I walked in and we looked at it, and I said, this is pretty cool. Would you guys want to take this to the next level? So they took those steps, and we actually did a Google Drawing project on it, where in Google Drawings we made the circles, we made the hat. I taught them how to make simple shapes and group them together and you know, make a turkey. And they thought that was fantastic. And then we went into Google Slides. And I want to show you guys a couple things. If you want to get the full idea, I have some YouTube videos of different, you know, places that I've done this kind of thing. But let me bring in here to Google, which I'm told is a fantastic website. And let's just open up Slides here, and let's just kind of go past that first couple things. So we have a character here. We have a little Tyrannosaurus Rex, and when I share this concept with kids, we talk about the concept of going in, doing a Google image search, and I just did a basic Google image search, and we know that if we come over here to search terms, we can go into color, and we can search for transparent, or up here in the bar we can type in dinosaur transparent. So this gives us an opportunity to talk about the differences between transparent images and not. And so if we click on this dinosaur here, let me blow this up, you can see that there's a checkerboard behind the dinosaur, which means that it is a transparent background, as opposed to this dinosaur, which is not checkered, which means it's not transparent. So I find that if you talk to the kids about this, once you get into the project itself, you don't have these white or, you know, colored boxes running around, because a lot of kids just try to find the first graphic they find. Also, when we're looking at this, most teachers and kids want to bring in images from the research tab. Many people don't realize that under tools there's a research tab. And yes, you can type in let's just type in the word baseball. You can find images here, but to my knowledge, you really can't go into detail and do much, you know, advanced searching on this. So that's why I like to show kids how to do this advanced image search here with the transparent. So let's get back to our demonstration here. Now, Chris, Kevin, I don't want you to call this Google Slides. I want you to refer to this as Google Frames.
Oh.
So essentially what we do is I show them a couple things. We can make this dinosaur really, really small, and let's just say I'm going to do this really quickly. I'm going to start him off the frame. I'm going to come over here, do copy paste, and I'll make him run really quickly. As he gets bigger, so we do the next frame, copy paste, and the next frame. You get the idea here. So that way, as you're building this, you actually have your monster or your character running around the frame. And that's kind of neat. And then what we want to do is we want to put a background to this and really make it into some pretty cool Jurassic Parky type thing. So I happen to have a picture here of grasslands, and I just type in to do a big, large image. And I'm going to come over here for this image. I'm going to copy the URL, and I'm going to come over here to backgrounds. And under backgrounds, I'm going to go to image, and I'm going to copy the image in. Now, here's what you have to tell your kids. If they just hit done, that is changing the background for just this image. You can see here on the left side, only one of the slides has the background image. But if you go to add to theme, that now puts the background in every single slide. And on top of that, when you click on when you click on create new slides, they all have that same background image. So now what we can do is we can have this guy running around our stuff. So again, I don't call it slides, I call it frames. And then what do we do from there? And we can simply publish. We can publish this to the web. And I do this as an every second thing. Start slideshow as soon as it loads and then restart. And so now that I'm going to publish this, it gives me a link. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to copy and paste this link in here. And now the kids actually have an image movie that is full life. You see these creatures running around. It is only 1 second. And so really you have this opportunity to not make power. I like to do the presentation, and I think we're doing it at NATO here, I think, of when are Google Slides not a PowerPoint substitute? And this is an amazing thing. Now the question here, Chris, that comes up is, how do you add sound to all of this? And the only way that you can add sound to this is when you download each of these things as images, and then you put them into something like an iMovie or a WeVideo or a Final Cut or something. Then you can add background music, then you can add voiceover effects, you can add sound effects, you can do all of that great stuff. I want to show you guys a couple of final projects that we did here. This one here is a dinosaur who comes up and he sees a Star Wars droid, as many dinosaurs do. And droid looks, and see, now you're talking about having conversations. Now you're timing. Uh-oh. The dinosaur ate the droid. And so then now we have the Jedi Starfighter come and destroy the dinosaur. So you can see how really, really easily, and of course this can all be done with collaboration. Here are some other examples here. These are kind of in the middle here. This one here, the dinosaur is now eating BB-8 and R2-D2. Droids equals yum yum. Now this one here happens to be my salute to Monty Python. You'll see why in a second here.
Tell me there's going to be a foot that's come. Ah, fabulous.
But
nice.
I just want to show you these two here really, really quickly.
You forgot the sound effect, Jeff.
Well, I couldn't. This one here, Mama Turtle comes up, grabs Baby Turtle, and runs away. Pretty simple. This was done by a second grader. And I'm proud of that because it really just shows you how easy this can be, that in a 20-minute demo that I did in this person's class, this second grader took this. And the neat part was, like, after I started doing this one around to various grades, and I've done this in kindergarten up until 8th grade, I got a chance to do this. You just start getting kids emailing you all their projects and sharing their projects with you because of where this is going. And here's another one. Lady walks up, wants to buy lemonade. The dollar bill turned into lemonade. And then finally here. This was all done by a 3rd grader. Pretty neat. Pretty interesting. So, and here you can see the Death Star is coming in to the frame as the dinosaurs walk in. So now you're talking about creating images and creating transparent images. And so
That's really cool.
So that way you can show over time, you can show depth. You know, clearly now you're having a conversation saying the bigger the dinosaur, the closer it is. You're having relationships. You know, here we have our Star Destroyer. You can see again the Death Stars coming up. I was in a rut. This was mostly in December, so I was on a Star Wars versus Jurassic Park kick for a while. But now you have the Death Stars attacking the good guys, and that really it is. It's all complete, you know, fun and utter chaos when you do these things together. But yeah, this is kind of the idea that we have here. Is let's not, you know, if I ask you guys what is Google Slides and you say it's like PowerPoint, but that's not the answer that I want. I'm looking for it's a transformative, awesome, amazing thing, and you know. What else can you need it for? Like, you just do those kinds of projects.
That's really cool.
Your kids are going to love you for it.
Hey, I gotta ask you, did anyone try it? Does it work with GIFs? Do we know if GIFs play in?
Well, the issue here is not the animated GIF, because on some of these we did put movies in. It's that when you publish the Google Slides, you only can say advance the slide every second. It's not smart enough to say I have a movie,
Right.
I'm going to hold for a minute. So that's where, you know, and we'll get to it in a second here, app smashing, right? You can download it, you can insert this. So I wouldn't build a stop animation movie in Final Cut. I would do it in a slide presentation. I actually did this at a 100-person PD session at school with Play-Doh. I gave them all a big can of Play-Doh, and I gave them, you know, I said, take out your cameras, start taking pictures. And they had all their Play-Doh running around. It was kind of fun. But it's not smart enough to do that. But if you're doing it in Final Cut, now you've got slide, hold for a movie, slide, and now you can do all the Foley work. So it's really, really neat. And that's, check me on this one, Chris. That's coming to an Ed NATO festival near you, I believe.
Yes, if you check out the agenda, you'll see our list of upcoming free events, and NATO is one. And we have some Ed Camps. I believe, Kevin, Ed Camp South Jersey is this Saturday, right?
That's correct.
Oh, we're in for another good time. You know what I love about Ed Camp? The best piece of Ed Camp wisdom I ever got was from Kevin Jarrett. And he said, take your attendees and divide your pizza count by what, 8?
5.
5.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you
That's a
how
big
often
number.
I've used that, and it has worked every time.
Is it incredible?
How did you come up with that equation?
To be honest, I believe the person that first did it was Betty Napoli at Pad Camp so many years ago. We had 300 people and used the formula and had like 2 pizzas left over.
I've used
incredible.
So what is it? It's take
You
your attendees.
remember the double cut though, right? The double cut is the critical part.
Right. So double cut your pizzas, take your attendees, and divide by 5, and that's how many pizzas you order.
But
Exactly.
the secret to that also is don't order the pizza till the day of, right?
Yes, that's correct. You do it
I was
based on
recently at an
attendees,
Ed
not
camp.
registrants.
Kevin, I took a bunch of pictures that I wanted to send to you. I'm not going to mention the Ed Camp, but we ended up having 50 to 60 or 70 people or so, and I think they ordered 45 pies.
That's
a
it.
lot of pizza.
That's take home.
It was wonderful take home. But they
Really?
ordered the pizza the night before, thinking that they were going to have 200 people there, and I'm going, Kevin Jarrett.
Nope. Nope.
Can I give you one more, Chris, or do you want to go on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, the next thing on the agenda there was how to take this to the next level and do things like comic books. And this also has to do with the animation effect that we just showed off and Google Slides. And my other favorite app that I like to talk about is called Storyboard That. Are you familiar with Storyboard That?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of it, never used it.
Storyboard That's amazing. Free version, premium version, the whole deal through. I've been using Storyboard That forever, and even now I'm showing off this stuff to my kids and my teachers, and they love it. They're doing full storyboard like walls. It's really, really amazing. So here we're just going to start off. They give you 3 basic cells. I'm going to quickly, here's a newsstand. Let's go to athletics. So I'm going to do like a baseball field.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes.
Question: what's the situation with accounts? The kids have to sign up and need an email address. How's that work?
If you have the free account, the kids need their own accounts and emails and stuff like that. If you have the pro account, a teacher sets it up and the kids can sign into the teacher account.
How much?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
Okay, go ahead.
But you can use this as a universal. So we have these 3 comic book type things, right? And we can of course come over here to characters, and we can put characters in here. We can do those sorts of comic-y book things. Now, can you do this in slides? Yes. Can you do this in other things? Yes. But the thing I like about Storyboard that is it actually can take different characters, and you can do poses, you can turn their heads, you can do all these neat little things with this. And that's just something that you don't see with other things. I was working with this with a journalism class, because you can also take something like this and crop it, and now you've got things like wide shots, narrow shots, you name it, you've got all the different angles in here. So essentially what you can do is you can take this, make all these different shots, then you can bring them into here. Now let me get rid of this. I'm going to start a new one. And you know what? I've got the background here. But the idea is you can simply come in here. And this is like one of those little known features of Google Slides. If you come over here to page setup, it does have 16 by 9, 16 by 10, or 4 by 3. But the biggest thing here is this word custom. And
Portrait, baby.
you can do this by 8.5 versus 11. I guess you're right, portrait. And now you've got your own book.
Mhm.
And so as I'm adding page after page after page, what I tell the kids is every kid gets a page, and now you can take your storyboard that's squares, or you can make pictures, or you can do anything else you want, and now you can literally create your own comic books, your novels, your whatever you want, your EPUBs, right? All those different things you can use slides for. It is absolutely amazing.
That's really neat. Jeff, let me jump in real quick, because that reminded me of something. I was going to do a screen share of this later. What I love about that custom page setup, that's how I've been telling my teachers to kind of use to make up for Microsoft Publisher. You can actually make that as big as you want, and whatever size, of course, you make it, you can actually print out. And that's kind of how we've been using. That's what we've been using, kind of like to fill that Microsoft Publisher role.
Yeah.
Is going into slides and setting it to whatever size they need, and making up their flyers and then printing them out. So that custom size is really pretty cool. We've done some, big A2, A4, prints. Say it again.
The key is to use Google Drawings too. When I was going back, making the turkey, and then luckily by the time that I perfected making turkeys, it was December, and I realized that teaching kids how to make snowmen was so much easier than teaching kids how to make turkeys, because then you can have the 3 circles for the snowmen, and then when you bring them into Google Slides, you can animate them, you can have things blow up, you can move all the different parts around as the slides go through. I mean, we made some pretty interesting kamikaze snowmen with parts just flying all around, and it was neat. And so if you do that in Google Drawings, then you have the ability to do grouping at a level that's, it's a little bit easier to do, and then you copy everything into slides. So, call it app smashing if you want, just call it basic, workflow. Drawings is amazing, and just a little plug on April 3rd on the Tech Educator show, we're going to have Casey Bell come on to talk all about Google Drawings.
Very cool.
There's so many different things you can do with drawings if you give it a chance. I was thinking about writing a book, 50 things you can do with Google Drawings, but that topic might already be taken.
Oh, gotcha. And so to kind of wrap up, I want to throw to Kevin and talk to Kevin about Google Expeditions. Kevin, how's that been going?
Well, it's kind of started. I haven't done a whole lot with it. We got approved for the beta, and let me rock the screen share thing here. I just don't want to be left out. And let's look at that. I can even pick the screen I want to share. Yeah, this is the public Google Expeditions group. I'm in the beta, which means we have access to the actual app, and this was designed to support people that are experimenting with the tool. And I can tell you this is my deal. Where's my post here? Seriously? Okay, fine. There's a couple of posts I have in here. What the interesting thing I want to point out is that right now it's in beta, and getting the client onto the devices is a little bit of a challenge because you have to sign into the device with a whitelisted account, download the app, which is otherwise hidden on the Play Store, and then everything works fine. I have it set up with an old Android phone that I had laying around, an HTC One M9, and a Galaxy Tab, and it works pretty much as advertised. couple of interesting things though. There's this picture here that I have on my screen right now. There's a something called Remix OS, which is an Android operating system that you can set to boot up off of a flash drive, which would then theoretically be able to be the teacher machine. So you could, if this works, you could walk into a teacher's classroom, hand them a flash drive, they can boot their teacher machine from the flash drive and run the expedition for all the devices in the classroom. So that would be pretty. Yeah, that'd be
That'd be
sweet.
awesome.
Yeah, it'd be really sweet. So the OS works fine. Still struggling with getting it all configured and everything, but it's very promising. The biggest problem we're running into is cost. I'm still waiting to see a recommendation for a handset that would be viable for a reasonable amount of money. I mean, some people have said some of these $50 or $60 phones at Best Buy will work. Some people I know have tried a couple of them and they don't. The phones need to have a gyroscope, so that's a big deal. So you're looking at 60, 70, $80 for a phone, and then potentially the viewer as well, which the heavy-duty ones that are plastic are going to probably be a better long-term investment than the cardboard ones. And so we ran the numbers, and we're looking at like $2,500 basically to get a set of these things set up to be able to go into a classroom. Now we also have, I've just shared, I think it's in here. Yeah, this is cool. Jonathan Rochelle came up with this great 3D printed phone rack, which if you are fortunate enough to have a classroom set of Nexus phones you can walk around with, this is the stylish and efficient way to do that, so that you can imagine, trudging into a classroom with a set of these. It's a pretty boss setup he's got here, that would allow you basically to drop in and everybody's got a phone ready to go. So I think the program's got a lot of potential. This community is definitely worth joining. There are people in here talking about different aspects of it, and it works beautifully once it's set up. I have no issues with it at all. I just need a bunch more viewers and a bunch more phones. I already have a couple of teachers that are interested in wanting to see what it's all about, and looking forward to working with them on some curricular applications. So it's been pretty cool.
Kevin, are they still accepting people? I know with many schools they put in for betas but didn't get accepted yet. Do you know what the process is, or where the line stops?
No idea. I have no idea why they let me in. Just I must have snuck through somehow. But I know other folks that have been doing other things, and it's anybody's guess. I haven't heard. But so
we had Google come out in the fall, and it was fantastic. I was hoping to get in as many.
Yeah,
people.
exactly. Good guy down the street from me in Linwood, Frank Polero, had them. They came out and did a beautiful demonstration. Everybody's excited, and I would think those people would have been at the top of the list to get into the pilot. But what do I know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably just a matter of time. But the biggest issue is going to be, like I said, you're going to have to get devices that are going to go around, because otherwise, can you imagine touching every student device that you're going to come into contact with, get the app, get it installed? It would be a gigantic pain. So I think that the right way to go about this is to get a dedicated system, but that's just me.
And Kevin, I know you're a creative guy, and in that community, I'm sure there's other people who are having some pretty cool ideas. I mean, outside of your basic, a virtual field trip, is anybody exploring just kind of fun or neat, interesting ways to play around with the app? Dreaming big down the road.
I haven't seen that yet. I'm very interested in that as well. I'm be curious to see what the killer app for this is, other than the oh wow, cool, awesome, yay. So I mean, if there's some social studies implications of visiting famous places, and you're giving kids challenges to locate particular things and then to explore them. The same thing is true with the underwater excursions. It's really knowing about what expeditions are available and how that relates to the things that you want to get across, or you want the kids to be able to experience. So I'm watching for that as well.
And I know last I had heard they are considering allowing people to make their own expeditions. Yes. So a kid could potentially make an expedition, yes, and then push it out for them to go on. Are you hearing the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they already have the ability right now for you to take VR photos that are panoramas and put them into the cardboard.
It has to be the photospheres, right?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, really cool.
That's a lot of fun.
All right. And to wrap it up, we're going to go back to Jeff. Jeff, you wanted to touch on communities versus Google groups, right?
Yeah, this is a question I've been trying to throw around to different, Google innovators, trainers, and stuff. Kevin and I recently, Kevin and I know at least, became Google mentors. And I don't know about you, Kevin, on the same night we got a lot of invites. Some of those invites were to Google groups, and some of those invites were to Google communities.
Right.
And I wanted to kind of throw the question out, A, what's the difference? B, how do you treat them differently? And if you were doing this in a school, whether it be as a professional development thing or teacher student, what would you do? Would you do a community? Would you do a
Yeah.
Google group? Is there a reason why you would want?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely want to jump on that. And I would say, just so everybody understands, when Jeff says we became mentors, what that means is that the most recent class of Google certified innovators have been partnered with existing certified innovators to guide them in their passion projects that they're doing for the next year. And so we've been partnered with some really awesome folks that we're going to be working with over the next 12 months, which is very exciting. But to Jeff's point, the difference between groups and communities to me is that groups is much more low fidelity. It is email powered. So one of the things I hate about Google Groups is I forget to go check the stinking group, and somebody posts something, and it's like, oh, I missed that, because the notifications I have turned off because otherwise my phone blows up. And what I love about Google Groups is everything is ultimately an email, and so there's threads you can go back and easily read them and get information. They're not as sexy, they're not as visually appealing, but for working groups of staff, I would absolutely go with a group before I would go with a Plus community. With students, they might be more intrigued by the Plus community functionality and the fact that many students don't have email, so that kind of obviates the need there. I'm not a super fan of groups of communities. I much prefer groups personally.
And does the ability to have a group also equal the ability for the group to exist? I mean, again, email, teachers, talking about this week at Ed Camp, of you create something for your school, your professional, your kids, and you put out a big poster that says, hey, we're doing this event, and then nobody writes you back, and it's like a one-way conversation.
Yeah, I wouldn't look at groups or communities as external vehicles. I'm a big fan of meeting the communities where they are. So if that means posting your link maybe on your group or your site or whatever, and then dropping that on the school website or in a Facebook group or somewhere else, I think that makes more sense, because those folks aren't going to come to the places where we're living. They got to be invited.
And so that's why you're saying email. Everybody has that.
Well, yeah, for a professional working group of teachers, email is absolutely the best way to go, and that's why I like groups. It's just more logical, and everybody checks their email. That's the bottom line.
And that's just how it works. With a group, you just reply to that
Yeah,
email, and it's all right.
Exactly. It's groups is really just a front end to an email discussion server with a couple of extra features, not a lot.
What would be the advantage, and let's go back to the mentor thing, but even in our school situation, of setting up both?
Well, I think that it's a richer experience with groups. So if you want to drop in pictures and videos, and you want people to +1 things, and it's more conducive to the social sort of aspect of conversation, like on Facebook, whereas groups is down and dirty, let's get work done. Like we're planning the next Chrome camp, and we're like, okay, how's this date? I don't think so. How about this? What'd you think about that? And okay, here's this. And so it's more of a conversation based, whereas communities is more visually interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I find groups to be more efficient in my experience too. Is the people in groups are either getting that information out, while communities is a little bit, like you said, more social. So if I was looking to like maybe power something where I had a lot of users actively kind of going after, I think groups, like you said, with the email, and it's not somewhere where you mess around.
And as far as school goes, for groups, you would obviously need to have, let's just keep teacher-student here, but students would need to have email set up, or could
Yes.
students just go to groups.google and check it. And then I'm assuming for communities, the kids have to have Google Plus turned on and
Correct.
have their profiles filled out.
Not necessarily the profiles, but they would have to have through the admin panel. You'd have to have Google Communities turned on, I believe.
Correct.
It's good discussion.
There you go, fellas.
There's a lot of overlapping these days, and there's a lot of, and I like Kevin's, it's just not as sexy. It get down and dirty. I never thought of it that way. I just thought of it as something else.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
very cool, man. I'm looking forward to doing the mentoring thing. That's really cool.
Absolutely. Jeff, Kevin, thank you guys so much for joining me. We will be back next month, the second Monday of the month. If you are a member of Google New Jersey, well, if you're not, you should be. But when you are, you'll see that we post the agenda and we pin it to the top. This is a crowdsourced agenda, so anybody's able to jump in, anybody's able to suggest something. So we want this to be a community-driven program. So Kevin and Jeff, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to hear from you guys. Thank you to Regina and Jeannie and her kids for coming on and talking about CS First and their experience with Google Apps for education. And that does it for the Google New Jersey Power Hour number 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Can you edit that out of the
No
recording?
way, man.
Seriously, dude. Seriously. All right, I'm going to bed.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Later.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.